Well, welcome to Grills and Axle Grease, and for this episode, this is a pretty big one. I'm still kind of nervous. Probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. But anyway, I just left Sioux Falls. Actually, I'm about 100 miles 100 miles west of Sioux Falls, on my way to Las Vegas to pick up this 56 Chrysler Town and Country Wagon, or at least attempt to bring it back. So we'll get to more details maybe as we get closer here. I'm actually I just got off I-90 heading south to Platte, South Dakota. We'll go over the Missouri River here pretty soon. But anyway, this is going to be an interesting trip. From Sioux Falls to Vegas, I'm taking the northern Nebraska via Casper, Wyoming, through Rawlings and to Salt Lake City. It's actually the fastest route, technically, without any big mountain passes to go through. So anyway, yeah, this just a quick overview on this car. Bought it sight unseen. 1,400 miles to get home. I got, believe it or not, in this Buick here, I probably have 500 pounds in parts and tools. You can feel it driving this thing. We'll see what my fuel economy is at $4.10 a gallon. I think that's what that last fill up was. But anyway, this yeah, the past owner, this car was actually, it's a wagon. It was part of a fleet that he leased out to the studios there in the Los Angeles area. This guy was in Ventura, California. Apparently, this is the one that he drove on his own trips, you know, where the other ones he had on standby. His actual business was leasing out vintage campers, vintage trailers that would go along with, I think I'm slow down here. Yeah, vintage campers that would go along with whatever set. So the Chryslers, you know, were part of that as well, but it was mainly the trailers from what I understand. But anyway, this car, he said it was very reliable to him, but it sat for 5 years, and apparently he wasn't the mechanic. He hired somebody else, and then he hired a second guy to come along to fix his cars. And from what I gather, the guy didn't do the carburetor right. He screwed it up, and then the fuel pump went out. I'm not sure the order of which one of those occurred, but so it's been sitting for 5 years. He bought brand new tires just right then when that happened. It is a California car. Floor pans are rusted out because obviously water leaked in through the cab. Yeah, I got my hands full, so we'll start, make sure it runs, check the fuel system. I'm a little bit worried about the fuel tank. I'm a little bit worried about the Power Flight transmission, not so much. I've been gathering parts for like 2 months, 3, maybe 4 months, maybe 5 months, yeah. But I was really worried about a water pump, because those are very expensive and hard to find. I finally got a spare water pump. Weighs as much as a battery. So this is a 331 HEMI. It's actually the matching block. Someone put HEMI head. So another thing we'll look is down into the pistons and see, you know, down into the compression chamber and see if it does have the HEMI pistons as well, or does it have the poly 331 pistons. So I'm interested in that. It does have the WCFB quad carburetor on there. It does have, excuse me, the generator in power steering pack, so I got to go through that and check it out. So yeah, just a little bit of what to look forward to. So now let's get a front view here. So middle of nowhere, South Dakota, east of, or west of Mitchell, east of the Missouri River at this point. All right, day 2, and we are here in the middle of Wyoming on Highway 220, south of Casper. heading out towards Salt Lake. It's kind of like a neat little valley down here. This may be the route I take the Chrysler back, because so far it doesn't seem to be too heavy on the mountain inclines and stuff like that. So we'll check in when we get to Salt Lake next. All right, well, we made it to Salt Lake City, and I see the Buick over there, and yeah, there you go, there's the mountains. So now on to Las Vegas. Now en route to Las Vegas. Didn't really see much of the town, but I've been here before a long time ago, so. Oh man. Now the rough work comes, about 300 miles, and then start working on that car. You know what I did? Like a dummy, I forgot the brake shoes. Oh, there you go, there's a nice view. I forgot my brand new brake shoes, and I found a place in Las Vegas that relines shoes, so if these are bad, I can just have them relined, but that's just gonna delay me, so we'll see what happens. I arrived here in Las Vegas, and sight unseen car, here it is. The 56 Chrysler station wagon. There you go. And just started giving it a look over. It's, I want to say it could be a 2-owner car. Oops, this door is not working properly. I've got the camera in my hand, but hang on a second. Okay, so it's a pretty big car, and I just checked the brakes, and they actually do work. They just need to be bled, and I think a couple of brake lines I've just got underneath it. They should be replaced. But yeah, this is actually a pretty big. It's bigger in person than the photographs show. The engine compartment here, so we got all the gauges. Typical Chrysler switches and everything like that. The glass is all in good shape and all that. So just been out in the weather for 5 years. So the last time this ran when parked, which is 5 years ago. So I just got here a minute ago. Excuse me, the hoarse voice. But first thing I want to do is I checked underneath and just looked at the gas tank, because that's one of my main concerns, and it's about half full of varnish. It smells really bad. So thankfully, being a station wagon, I pulled out the sending unit, and yeah, sure enough, it's about half full there. So tomorrow morning I'm going to pump that out. We're going to take it somewhere, and hopefully the tank is in good shape. You could smell the varnish through here. It's really dry here, sorry. And let's take a look underneath, and then we'll look at the engine compartment. There's the fuel line, just like the Pontiac. And on the other side is the brake line. There's the automatic transmission. U-joints. Other than the floor pans, it actually looks pretty good. Brand new tires. The tires have pretty much no miles on them. Excuse me. So let's look under the hood here. So there you go. It's a I checked the numbers, and the block number does match the excuse me, I gotta get a drink of water. There we go. Okay, water break. I'm not used to 100 degrees in Sioux Falls. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna have to drain that fuel. And so
what I'm gonna do right now is based on what the guy I bought it from told me. Oh, what I was saying, yeah, the engine numbers. It's a 331 poly, but someone put the HEMI head, so I'm gonna put a scope down there. We'll see what pistons are in there and so on. But he said the problem, of course, was the fuel pump, which led to the bad fuel in the tank. So I got a new fuel pump to put on here. And then he said the guy, he had some guy rebuild the carburetor and he did it wrong. So I'll go through that. He says it's a fresh kit in there. He said you shouldn't have to buy anything. So I'll look at that and then hook a fuel line up to it. And we'll see if we can start the car. I got a battery in the Buick over there. And so at least the brakes do stop the car. That's one less worry. I got the cowl vent open there too. That was stuck. So, yep. So, well, we'll see if we can get it going. It's the big question here. So I'm going to pull this carb off and take it to my dad's place, and we're going to try to I'll get that rebuilt tonight and come back over with the fuel line and see if we'll get it going. All right, first of all, this linkage, this is the same carburetor that Carter, you know, the AFB, it's the pre-AFB. Okay, so we got a vacuum line. The guy put his own PCV system on there. Oops, get that out of the way. Yeah, that's the hot coil wire. There we go. Heat riser thing, which you don't need in Nevada, that's for sure. All right, is that even connected to anything? I don't really notice. No? Oh well. So yeah, we can test that later. Yeah, there. And over here you got the power steering pump and the big mess around there, so who knows if that's gonna hold fluid or not. There we go. Let's see. Oh, that's just moisture there. Oh, it's just like my AFB carb. Well, here, let's set it down. It's got a nifty little vacuum spacer, so they get that PCV vacuum. All right, let's look down in here. Well, just, I don't know if that's varnish or moisture, but almost looks like it's got some type of bakelite in, or what do you call it? Polished. Huh, that's kind of interesting. Let me get the light. All right, yeah, it looks like some type of, just looks like the coating from the old fuel, but the weird thing is it's extremely smooth. It's not, it's just, I never seen anything like that. Hopefully that gasket's all right. I got a spare gasket. Okay, let's pop this off. Oops. Okay, the clip's already off. Okay.
Yeah, remember?
There we go. Well, that looks new. The center electrode is there. The plug wire is pretty decent. Excuse me, oops. Got some of those flowers in there. Okay, let me test that. Let's test the advance. Okay, so that works. It's loose at least. All right, let's see if this vacuum advance, because I am stuck if that don't work. It's loose. Ooh, hold on. Oh, it's just the nut on there. I'm gonna pull this off here. Put this here. And let's see if that. Cool, it's working. Did you get that?
No.
Oh, it's right. See? So that works. Fresh ignition system there. So that's good news. So yeah, if we can just get fuel to this carb and some battery, we'll get it going. All right, here's the battery. Okay, there we go. Remember the Bionic Man? All right, they always say connect the red one first. Oh, look at that. Something's on. Probably a dome light. Hang on, let me check. Let me make sure the key switch is shut and everything else. All right, all the switches were on, everything. There we go, look, nothing now. And I hope this battery's still charged. Let's see. Just lay it right here for a second. Oops, look how close it is to that belt. All right, let's just see. Let's just see if it'll crank and anything else happen. Let's see here. Okay, ready? Hands up, cranks. Yeah, let's see the camera over here. All right, so yeah, courtesy light works, which is kind of interesting. Does the clock work? I don't see it working. Let's see if the radio works. These things take a few seconds to get the tubes going. Oh, you got to turn it on the accessory. Oh, I hear the speaker. So yeah, this is off. And we got, oh wow, let's see. Yeah, it does work. So the radio still works. I'm always interested in the radio. So amps, yeah, so it's drawing. I'm just testing the brake. Let's see if the, you see any headlights? Check those.
Watch your foot.
Oh, the wipers. Oh wow, they work. Oh my gosh. First car I've ever bought from the 50s, the wipers actually worked. Okay, ready? Lights? Check the brake lights. Let's see if they work. Yeah, the horn, who knows if that's gonna work. Okay, ready?
Yep. Perfect.
Really? Wow. All right.
Turn signal.
Oh. How about left?
Yeah, now it is. How about front?
Oh, now I see it on the indicator. Huh, it's pretty cool. Map light works. Okay, we're gonna look down in the chamber, see what pistons are in here and see if there's any other problems. Hang on one second here. That should be loose. Here, go. Oh, there we go, that did it. Oh yeah, there's supposed to be a seal. Oops, I need a rag. Yeah, thanks. Big tail rag. Brand, well, somewhat brand new plugs. Oh, you know what? The secret with these HEMIs is you have to take out, you're not supposed to put the spark plugs in with that because it won't seal properly, so oil goes right down inside, which now they look pretty rich. Let me look down there. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the camera. Let me turn this thing on. This is a real cheap one that I bought off of I think eBay a number of years ago. Uh-oh, if I can get it down the combustion chamber without hitting all that oil. Okay, let's take a look. I gotta turn on the light. There we go. Okay, now you can see the chamber right there. It looks extremely clean. And if it's domed, then it's the HEMI one. It's got the HEMI heads, but it doesn't mean it. Oh yeah, it is. It does have the domed pistons. I see it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So someone put the proper pistons in this car. Yep, they sure enough, they are domed. So it has the higher compression. Well, that's another good sign. And it's dry and clean in there. All right, now we're in my dad's garage. He lives here in Vegas. That's why I had that car shipped here in the first place. But anyway, I did get a kit thanks to these Daytona Parts Company. I think they're in Florida, yeah, obviously. So this is a kit for the WCFB. Anyway, the guy I bought the car from, he said the car had a fresh kit, but the guy he paid to put it together, he couldn't get it running. And late last night, I took it apart and shined a light through it and looked at all the orifices and everything, and I did find some problems, some obvious reasons why it wouldn't start. And all the there's just a ton of crud in here. It was cleaned up lightly but not thoroughly. So these idle air jets, these two especially, were totally clogged. The enrichment needle was stuck, so that was never, this thing right here, that was never taken out and cleaned, or probably didn't even know it was there. I think the kit has all that in there. The floats are good. I tested those in a pool of water, so no problem, no leaks. And we'll see if they were set up right. But yeah, the WCFB, unlike the Carter AFB, these primary and secondary ventures don't come out. They're actually brass welded in place. But anyway, you still need to take the time to clean all these orifices, and it helps to have, sometimes you need a tiny little pin, that helps. Of course, the carburetor cleaner and even some baling wire to get all that cleaned out. So yeah, I got all clean, washed out, so now I'm just going to put it back together, and hopefully we'll have a working carburetor and get that thing started. Pretty simple carburetor. I got lucky. Unlike the Pontiac, the secondary, even though they do kind of look rusty, I got them cleaned up a little bit here the best I could. This vacuum, whoops. Yeah, even though it looks a little rusty, it's free. So yeah, the predecessor to the AFB carburetor is the WCFB, and let's get that thing together. Well, here's something else. These were hand tight. The float valves, okay, and to mention that, this new kit, this is pretty cool, this Daytona kit, so I'm giving them a plug. They have these newer type of float valves that have a more even fuel distribution as they open. I opened this bag, I was like, what is this? So it's a new type that seals more complete, but the second it opens, you get more fuel instead of a tapered fuel. So something to read there when you get a chance. There, got that. All right, got the carburetor ribbo as you saw before. But first I'm going to do some compression tests. I took all the plugs out of this side. 120. All right, let's try this one. Over 120. All right, here we go. Wow. 130. All right, next one. Oops, looks like a leak. Well, that one's only 90. $120. $130. $130. Okay, one more here. That's right at 100. Yeah, 105, 110. So pretty good there. Only one was technically low. All right, let's get the fuel pump changed out.
The secret to these HEMIs, as I said earlier, is these tubes. You want to make sure you take the gasket or seal, that washer, off of these spark plugs. And these are the spark plugs that guy on there, fella, said the GR4 V-Powers NGK.
Let's get a close-up shot here. Oops. Let's see. All sorts of crud in there. Yeah, that old fuel pump was bad. I sure hope the eccentric in here works. And these fuel pumps are not cheap. Even the rebuild kit is pretty expensive. And that's the only choice you got, really, for the 55 and 56. All right, I got the fuel pump on, but I forgot any type of Torx or Allen wrench, so I just barely have that on there. What is that, hole? And then I got the carburetor on, vacuum advance, PCV line. So I got to put the spark plug wires in, the fuel line connected, and then I looked down here and I found this wire dangling, and I thought, well, what is that? Where does that go? So I followed it back. Oops. And it turns out, yeah, this wire right here, it was hooked up. This is the horn relay, but all the starter stuff connects to it as well. So it was connected to the wire that feeds the coil. So my guess over there, that thing shorted out and probably potentially burned all this out. So I got to test the wire and see if upon turning the key we actually have any type of ignition, because right here this wire was completely burned up. Even though it still works, it got hot somehow, even though that's not directly connected to that. So anyway, I'm going to check continuity here in just a minute. Uh-oh, 0. Oh, there, we got power on the coil. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Yep, we do have power at the coil. Good. Okay, I had to check the firing order and it was all good to go. And I'm hooking up the distributor right now. I gotta find these clips. I'm just gonna assume that the dwell is set. And man, they put this thing way back here. You can't even get your hands on the clips. Okay, now the fuel line to the tank. Since it's low pressure, I'm gonna skip the clamp for now. There we go, it should crank. Made sure I had no vacuum leaks. I didn't check for spark, but the coil does have juice. Let's see here, where are we? Alright, well, let's see if it fires up. I think it's ready. Anything that can fall down. should loosen that distributor, maybe. Well, let's just see if it fires already. It's gonna smoke big time. Yeah, she's not gonna like that smoke.
All right, let's see. I did forget a fire extinguisher. But let's see, it's very minor fuel we got. Yeah, I do need to loosen that distributor. That'd be a good idea. But let's just see what happens real quick. All right, here we go. It's on. Ignition is on. Oh, it knocked.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Let's try it again. Oops. Well, that's a good sign, I guess. Wow. Whoops. This thing is... Shoot. I guess. Yeah. All right, day 2 here, Las Vegas location. So the object today was to get this tank. It's probably got 20 gallons cleaned out. My little electric pump I used on hundreds of Corvair tanks failed me a little bit. It actually started working at the last minute. But I'm just siphoning this old 5-year-old gas out, and it's working. So this is the second 5 gallons, and I think even with a little bit of this in, if I mix some gasoline, that old HEMI can handle it, as long as I don't put a big load. We'll see if it knocks, but I'll try to burn out some of this old stuff with several filters in line. So that's the plan. But yeah, this is amazing. It's siphoning really well. Where the sending unit goes, that just popped right off, and it doesn't work. But maybe I can clean it up, the level gauge there, you know. So this piece is not connected because the wood rotted right here, but that covers this flap. But you actually got more bed space than a typical pickup truck today, so that's pretty cool. And it's got pretty heavy leaf springs. I can actually jump on this and it doesn't even bounce like a typical 5,000-pound 50s car. So kind of interesting. And it's got gearing to match for the heavier vehicles there. Well, okay. So look at all this. I know you didn't want to see it, it's boring, so I'm not filming every little tiny detail. Yeah, we got about 15 gallons. So the 5 we already dumped. These we'll dump tomorrow at the, what do you call it? There's a local center that takes this, so not dumping it down the drain. Anyway, yeah, about 16 gallons, or maybe 12, somewhere in there. What a waste, huh? So I got some fresh gas in there now, and we're gonna see if we can get it running on its own instead of external tanks. And so here, coming off of the tank, this line here goes through this easy replaceable filter. You can rub on the belt if it wants to. We'll have to tie wrap that down. So it'll go into the pump, and then I like these filters have a good capacity before the carb here. So let's try to get it started and see what happens. I'm gonna
cut the tape because I did forget to put those extra gallons in the tank. I'm going to do that right now. And let's see if we can prime it up. Okay, now. You want to hook it? Oh yeah, hook that up. Make sure there's no spark. All right, let's squirt just a little bit in there. Oh, I need my little. Well, I'll just use the. Sometimes it works. Yeah, I should get my little button.
Oh, I could just start it.
Yeah, you can turn the key. There it goes. That's more than enough. Lay that down so make it off. We'll get it going, and then I'll watch that pump. Oh wait. Okay, here we go. Let's see if. Okay, go ahead and turn the key. Oh. It's working. The fuel pump is working. Let's take this, hold that. Actually, you might want to loosen it because it'll start dripping. Looky there, it's gurgling. Yeah. So this is the first start of the day. Everything's cold, you know. Ooh, there's the heater line. I don't want that. I'll redo this. That's in a bad place. But yeah, the pump. Yeah, there's sediment. I see the dirt. But it's doing its job. And then this will further filter, and then of course you got your small one in here, and you got your bowl. Wow. Well, now it's time to get the timing light and just see, make sure all that's set properly. Okay. So now I'm going to do an engine flush, and we'll change the oil, and that'll probably get rid of that knock, and it'll run a lot smoother and cooler. So that's the next thing. If I had time, I'd change out the differential oil too. I might get to that, who knows. Let's check out that filter one more time. Yeah, it's filling up with crud. But that's the only way to get it to drive it. So. Alright. I forgot to look at the tailpipe. Yesterday it was smoking like mad. There it goes. Nothing. Let's look at the other side. Well, a little bit of smoke. This is the one side that piston number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, piston number 7 had a little bit lower compression, and there was a lot of oil and stuff. So I'll run the power foam through there, and that may solve that. So we'll see. All right, I'm just going to show you. We got the timing. The dwell is off, but I just want to get the timing sequence correct. So I got it down to about 500 RPMs. And on these cars, it's hard to see where 2 degrees. I don't expect you to see that. I'll hook the vacuum advance back up, but it's running the way it oughta. The way it oughta should. And the dwell. Hey, did you hit the brake pedal? I just want to show that actuator. Watch this. The little accordion. There you go. That works. All right, we're gonna take it around the block. All right, we're gonna actually take it for a drive. Look, I don't even have to hit the gas pedal. Well, I did, okay. So we got oil pressure, we got decent temperature.
You know what? That fuel gauge says it's actually working. I don't think so. All right. Let's pull out. Power brake's working. I need to check the fluid level. I didn't even do that. That's all right. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. Power brakes work. There we go, see? Need a RPM gauge. I do have one. Here's the wires for it. If they touch together, it'll kill the engine. Mount this somewhere. Well, so far so good. Good power. I'll go down this way a little bit. Check the brakes. A little fuzzy, maybe. Here. Is this it? Oh, yeah, right here. Well, it actually drives all right. It's just steering. Actually, the power steering seems too strong, and it is smoking a little bit. That's nothing Power Foam can't fix, I don't think. Uh-oh. Bottle in the driveway. I'll stop it right here. Okay. The fuel gauge might actually be working. Temperature's okay. Oil pressure stayed good the whole time. You can put it in neutral here. I'm gonna run that Power Foam through it. There's something in the valves. Yeah. Both sides smoking or just one?
Mostly this one, a little bit in the other one. But I think it just needs a good burn.
Yeah, it needs. Mid drive's okay, you know.
Yeah, this looks great.
All right, now our this Power Foam stuff. Yep. All right, we're gonna spray some Power Foam down. That'll help with the carbon buildup, and usually you get a good compression increase on a car like this. So go ahead and start it up.
That's because I put parafoam down already. You can see it coming out of the tailpipe. That's the parafoam burning. All right, cut it off. There we go. And push the accelerator down. Yeah, right there. Okay. Now we'll let it sit for a few minutes and burn it out again. This is the second phase. That's why you saw that smoke. But yeah, the parafoam gets down in there and in the quench area, and a lot of times it'll get enough of the carbon off of the valves to get better compression and the rings to stop any smoking. But on these cars, if you do have excess smoking, it could have something to do with the seal on those spark plug tubes. That's always possible. So we'll run it again around the block. All right, we're back here for day 3, and today we got the tank hooked up last night, and I'm not going to be defeated on this one. Why does it look like it's zoomed in too much? Yeah, not going to be defeated on this one, so I've arranged transport. Here, my options though, I got the gas tank working and flowing, but over a certain speed, the sediment in the tank, you can't go over a certain speed, and then of course, you can't fill up the carburetor balls, so it dies. And if you let it sit for a minute, you can start it back up. So yeah, the options on the highway or anywhere, you'd have to pull over and pull this hose and blow it through again this way, and then you'll have another 10 or 15 minutes of driving. Another option, in front of this grill area, there's maybe pull this horn, this huge horn out of here, and I could put a tank here easily. So that's probably, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have it towed to, transported to Omaha. So that's 1,000 miles from here. And I can do it this way to drive the rest. So I can technically say I drove it home with at least some miles on it. So I think that's the plan. So right now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do an engine flush and change the oil at this moment. And if we have any time, maybe even bleed the brakes, or we'll check that level too. But they were working. At least bleed the fluid out to the rear cylinder here. So yeah, that's where we stand right now. Now let's see if this will start after sitting all night, how simple that will be. Oops, you got to get in on this side. Let's take a look. On the, you're looking at, again, 56 Chrysler Windsor. Oop, I left the gas tank thing open. Oop, struggling with a key. All right, let's see. Oops, get my... Hang on a second. Stuff in my back pocket here. Ugh, it's like an oven in here, 110, 120 degrees. Let me roll the window, some people say. Roll the window down. Okay, there we go. Let's see if I can start this thing. Gosh, I was hoping to have time to play with the radio. Can't even do that. All right, a couple pumps there. Oop, neutral. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, kicked over right there. Well, the battery's strong, hey. I need to look at the fuel filter, I guess, but it obviously isn't any fuel. There we go. Maybe the bowl was empty. It was hot and evaporated out of the bowl. Look at that instant oil pressure. Radiator's doing its job. Generator's doing its job.
And my hope today is to get rid of that tick. Now let's see if there's any smoke, because I ran that power foam through the engine and the smoke nearly all went away. Look at that power steering. It's actually too strong. I don't like that responsive power steering. You know what? First of all, I'm gonna fix this. Okay, I got it to zoom out a little bit better. And it's idling at about 500 RPMs. And yeah, look at here. No smoke. Oh, look at this. Look at this can. That's that varnish that shrunk in overnight. Yeah, there's a little bit of smoke here. And I'm pretty sure I can cure that. I mean, I don't think that's fuel because I got it actually leaned out a little bit. So, but we'll do a flush and clean up those piston rings and get some good synthetic oil in there, diesel stuff. So, all right, I'm gonna dump that flush in here, like I said 50 times already, and let the engine idle for 15 minutes. But first, I got underneath here. I'm not gonna have the camera down here when I drain the oil. But anyway, I wanted to show you. This is another reason why driving at 1,500 miles wouldn't be a good idea. First, I thought it was wheel bearings. And then I was worried it could be kingpins, which are not too bad to change out if you got all the parts. But by the way, the nice thing about kingpin suspension is you can take, once it's cleaned up, of course, you can take it to over-the-road trucking place, and they're the ones who know how to do that, and they do that right. But let me show you here. Look at the idler arm. Let me shake these tires here. If you could see the tremendous play in the system here. Let me try to hold that. That's all play, and I felt that when I was driving it around. Most of it is in this idler arm. If it would hold still, that's half of the problem right there. And the tie rod down there is pretty solid. But this one, there's a ton of wear. Thankfully, these parts are not that expensive. See there? Let me get up close. I'm just looking for anything more structural. Speedometer cable, I see that. The brake lines, they were actually redone now, I can tell, obviously. They were done by an amateur because they're just kind of run like a telephone line. Yeah, the back floor pans are fine. It's just these two in the front because they were standing water, because that doesn't happen in California otherwise. But the frame is solid. There's no issues with the frame and the rocker panels. The rocker panels are all in good, usable condition there. And look at that, the motor mounts. Let me see, can you see? Oh, cool, you know what? Can you see that? The engine has a petcock valve as a water drain. Now that is cool. Oh man, it's got it on the other side. Let me see. Yeah, it's got one on both sides. I did not know that. Yep, there's the starter. Oh man, what a pain that is to get to. I do have a spare. The exhaust manifolds and the exhaust awls are great. And so yeah, I always, if I'm gonna make a car driver, you know, you get the most pride, to me, more than the engine, is the front suspension parts, getting them all. These cars drive good when all the stuff is fresh, all the rubber parts are new. The cooling system for the transmission, you can see that right there. That's what it runs the transmission fluid through there. And there's no water in the transmission fluid, I checked that. There's the front pulley and the harmonic balancer. Yeah, 6 blade with a good shroud.
You got all this storage area in front of the grill. It's pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. So now we're going to let it idle for 15 minutes before I pull that drain plug, and we're going to put this engine flush. It's a detergent-based flush, so it's not a solvent. It's non-flammable. You pour that down there and let it idle. Maybe fast idle a little bit. When we get it to Omaha and drive and all that, we'll do another compression check and verify that, because I had 120 on all cylinders except for the back two, which I had like 92 and 110. So can I get that in there without a funnel? No. And I don't have a funnel. Let's try this. I'm going to put this breather tube pointing in that direction. Keep it away. And I got to fix this too. The heater hose. I don't want it to hit that blade. Alright, let's start it up and let it idle for the 15 minutes. Let's see. Oh, I better get some paper towel. We got jack stands, safety, blah blah blah. Emergency brake on. Block behind the back tire. So we should survive this type of thing. Alright, let's see. They don't give you a lot of room here because this. Where does that nut go? There's like a. Oh, there's a cover here that's bent wrong. There we go. We'll just make some more room. Look at that. Wow. Transmission torque converter cover or something. Alright. So now I guess you could have got the wrench in here. But I didn't bring my big wrenches. They're in the car, which is not here. So let's take this off and see what happens. Oh, look at that. Oh man. Fountain. Oh, jeez. What a mess. Flush will do. This isn't my driveway, so we've got to keep it clean as fast as we can. Darn it, now they're going to be mad. They're probably looking through the window. So that oil's been in there for 5 years, so the engine's going to be very happy about this. Alright, here's the oil filter cover. It's weird, they put nuts on there. The valve covers. There we go, got it. I'll make sure I didn't crimp it off.
Yeah, you gotta go under and look at it. So, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'll look again. But that only lasted 2 years, I think. Oops, I think I screwed up my camera too. Maybe, there you go. All right, here's the oil we're putting in. It's the only diesel that it's the only diesel that I trust because it does have the zinc. It's not one of those they withered away. This was based on the spec that ended prior to 2009. And of course you can get the Z-Rod high zinc and those other ones. But the 1540, we need a 40 weight, and the price is right for this type of thing. Plus, this should lower any oil consumption should it have it. What was the other issue? The Z-Rod, or I take it back, Amsel has a 10W40. It's probably a more premium product, but it's overkill. So I had a ton of extra this. This isn't a big seller because all the new diesel trucks need the higher spec. So I have a ton of this in inventory anyway. But yeah, if you want a really good classic car oil that's based on a 1976 formulation, this is it right here. 1976 to 2009 before the emission system. So we're going to get that in here and we'll start it up.
You got the funnel?
Yep. Alright, there's 5 quarts, we'll check it. So I'm hoping we can, after doing that flush, the smoke is gone completely and the lifter noise may or may not be gone. So, alright, let's try it out, see what it sounds like. That's trash. Great, I broke it. Have to fill the JB well. Now that lifter noise sounds like it's going away. Let's take a look around. And I didn't see any smoke in the tailpipe. Let's take a look. Let's come over here. Let's go take a look. Now let's go look at that tailpipe. What did Wilford Brimley say? It's the right thing to do? Yeah, I don't see any smoke. It does smell a little bit on the rich side, but nothing here. Yeah, nothing at all. Nothing at all here. You know it's hot outside when the exhaust is the same temperature as the air. Let's look at the oil pressure. Door. Here, you pull. I got the button pushed. Got it? Okay, now pull. Man, hot. Yep. Alright, yeah, so look at there. And this, you know, granted this is just a hose that goes to a gauge. It's real oil pressure. And the engine temp pretty much stays still. Charging. But if that lifter is, I don't know if they're solid or not, but if it's dirty or, you know, if it's not adjustment, it could be just adjustment, then yeah, that flush and synthetic oil will help clean things up a little bit more. And the acceleration will be smoother and everything else, so. Alright, we should probably take it for another test drive, I don't know. See if the fuel is working the way it ought to. Let's shut the hood, we're done under there. I need to check the oil level again. Look at this, look at this. It's on the ground, and it's just effortless steering. You don't even hear the whoosh. And I did put a cheaper synthetic oil in that reservoir. So, yeah, let me check the level. I will check the level. Alright. Yeah, that's, I gotta fix that on it.
There's the screw. Maybe somebody has one of these laying around for $10 or something. I don't know.
Problem.
Okay. Where is my rag? Here, hold that if you want. No, I don't want to. All right. See if we're where we need to be. Oh yeah, it's perfect. Right on the. Oh wait, it's on the add line. Let me check it again. Oops. That's in between the full and that. That's good enough for me. Yeah, we can know if there's. We can see if there's any consumption already. All right, we're good to go. I think I'll go around the block here, so see how that works out. All right, let's go for a ride, and we'll see if we can keep the fuel at a moderate speed. All right, so let's see. We got engines warmed up. Oil pressure looks really good, and then that. Let's try the. Boom. Turn off the brake. And the horn does work. I tested it. See? All right, let's take a go around the block here. See if I can get it to drive without fuel cutting off. Headliner came back down. So yeah, here we are, and I can feel those steering arms. I can feel the steering arms when you're going in a straight line, not when you're turning, of course, but yeah, it just feels a little loose there. And the neat thing about this car, you feel pretty high up. It's just like an SUV or something. It's not like a car at all, the feel. But it's 110 degrees, so this is a good test for this car. Temperature gauge. What are we going? 30 miles per hour. Let's make a right here. You gotta wonder what people think when they see this old machine. It's 35. Tires feel good. There's no lumpiness in those new tires. See the Las Vegas skyline way out there. I'm at about 45 miles per hour now. I'm coasting. I don't see any smoke out the back, but I'm going to put some load on it, and you know what, I'm going to turn left here, and then we'll turn around, we'll go back up this hill. I'm going to make a U-turn. We're going to go back up that hill. I'll turn around this neighborhood here. Oops, got to get the turning lane, I suppose.
See if I can make a U-turn here. Let's see what the turning radius of this car is or is not. Let this guy go through. Oh, I gotta reverse it here, hang on. Switch, boom. Transmission's responsive. Okay, drive. Only idling about 500 RPM. That's kind of a feat in itself. All right, now. Man, it's hot in here. Oh, man. The cowl vent works pretty good, though. Watch this. Let's see. Yeah, it blows the air down on your feet. Engine sounds great. I think the transmission needs adjusting, though, the bands. Some slop in there. Thankfully, the brakes work. Engine has not died once. Must have got all that stuff loose in the tank, maybe, or the sock fell off. Engine temperature is still below the center. I don't smell any oil, but the engine's awfully dirty too. At the turn, I didn't even realize. Whoops, there's a median. Alright. Let me gun it here and see if I can. And it's actually running much better than I could have hoped. I think this is the right street. A lot of these old cars that I've driven, when you idle down like that, it usually dies. This one doesn't even die, especially in this heat. Gosh, it ought to be having vapor lock or something. The jerry-rigged hoses I got under there. Man, this thing is cool. There's the house we're at. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try to back this thing up. This is cool. Look here. Boom. Oops, I'm not lined up. That must be the power steering slash generator, because they share the deal. All right, I'm gonna put this camera down so I don't hit these people's car. So in conclusion, and I went, it's just slightly smoking on this side, but he was behind me and said only tiny puffs this time around. So yeah, the engine is the flush and the power foam and all that. You do that again, and this engine should not, it should probably go away, because it I gunned it and there was nothing that time. Just a little bit of faint smoke out of that tailpipe. So anyway, that did fix the handle. So in conclusion, it still needs, you know, the fuel tank work. The brakes
brakes do need to be bled and checked out, but it does stop. And what else? Oh yeah, the steering parts. So with that, you could have a vehicle that's roadworthy, to say the least. Whoops. And a little bit of stuff here and there. I have a special paint that'll actually fix this. It's a clear type of a red paint. Pretty amazing stuff. But anyway, turned out well. So yeah, I'm going to have it towed back, and we'll get up to Sioux Falls, and I'll work on that steering when it's 70 degrees, and send that gas tank in to get cleaned.
Hello there. I'm not looking at the camera, I'm watching the road. I'm just northwest of Grand Junction, Colorado, so I'll let you enjoy the view. Basically, yeah, with the 56 Chrysler Windsor Town and Country with the HEMI heads. Nope, I'm not defeated. As you see, I'm driving this Buick back home. But with the two issues of that car, you know, sight unseen, you just discover a bunch of stuff. And when I got under there to change the oil and I saw how loose that steering was, and I felt it test driving it, but that is a no-go. And the nice thing, I did see those drag links available online for a really good price. But everything else, I got that engine solid. I would not think twice about that engine not making it on this type of ride. But also, this road is pretty tame, but some of these big grades, like 6% grade, going downhill and such, I don't trust those brakes, because I needed a day or two to go through the brakes. So that was a no-go. And the gas tank. The gas tank there, I got it emptied. My dad helped me with that. We pumped out or siphoned out the fuel, and I wish I got that part on camera as far as how I did that. But anyway, it worked, and let's see, 5, 10, about 15 gallons were in there. It's an 18-gallon tank, so 5-year-old gas at least. And then in the bottom of the tank, there was all sorts of sediment in that tank. So I cruised around the road about 35 miles per hour, and if I really gunned it, it started cutting out, because the filters were doing their job and they weren't getting clogged, but the pickup sock, I think, had some debris. So I blew it back the other way. Then I actually drove about 40, 45 miles per hour for a longer period of time. Never died on me after that. But I'm like, well, we still need to clean out that tank. There's a nice view in front of me here. But anyway, so I'm not defeated yet, because I spent the expense, and I hope you like and subscribe to the channel, because that definitely helped me out on this one. I'm having it shipped to Omaha, which is 180 miles south, and let's see, I'm having it shipped to Omaha, so I'm still going to drive it at least that much. And I got a flat road I can use. I can stay off the interstate, so I can do it in a safe manner, you know, at a lower speed. And if I have any trouble, I can easily get it towed, or I can have someone come along or something like that. It's easier, more tools available, and family members not too far away, all that stuff. So that's the game plan from here on out. So stay tuned. We're going to continue this saga of the 56 camper wagon. I call it the camping wagon, camper wagon. It just looks cool. The type of thing you'd want to take on your vacation and just stuff it full of all your stuff, just as is. That's the way it is. So anyway, hope you have a good evening. I'm going to keep driving until I get tired. I don't know how far I can go. Denver is less than 300 miles. I'd like to see Dillon and Vail, when the sun comes up though, so I'll probably stop before there. As a kid, I was in Vail and Dillon in 1979. And I'd like maybe see the place where we stayed or something like that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm going to cut it off now. So thank you. And if you enjoyed these types of videos, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to us. At least hit the like button, and that will get us up higher in the algorithm. Of course, we've got a lot of plans here, so I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks, and take care.